Welcome back, everybody, to more from the Stabilized. I'm Mitch, and I'm here today with Blake. How you doing, Blake?
I'm doing well, thanks, Mitch.
That is good, and we're here for top 8 of the Gawler League Cup. We're finally into cut, and we've got Wesley Shen on the left-hand side playing Giratina Malamar, just for something different. If you've been watching the rest of our games of this tournament, you will not be unfamiliar with that list. And we also have, on the right-hand side, Stefan Cocks playing QuagNag with Keldeo GX.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting matchup. It's not something you get to see every day. I mean, the TinaChomp that Wesley has brought here is not the most common variant of Malamar these days. It's typically melee tags. And Nagquag, it's still one of those decks that's like kind of hard to build unless you specifically like aim to build it, if you know what I mean, because you have to get the Quagsires from Dragon's Majesty, so you have to specifically hunt that card if you want to build this deck.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit awkward, but I mean, it's seen quite a lot of play over the last year and a bit. Obviously, our players both waiting for the judges to be ready here, and since it's a top 8 match, they'll have a table judge who's probably just having a conversation with them. But yeah, no, Quagsire and Naganadel has obviously seen a lot of play, but with this Keldeo, it's actually seeing a bit of a resurgence here because of the prevalence of Reshiram Charizard. How do you feel about this particular deck in this format, Blake? You're a fan, or do you think it's still not quite consistent enough?
I really like QuagNag's position in the format. What's unfortunate, if you're a QuagNag player in South Australia, is that everyone loves playing Malamar here, and that's a bad matchup.
That's not great.
So I would say overall, if you're one of our international viewers, or someone even just out of state, QuagNag's in a great spot because fire is everywhere. And I wouldn't even say it's the Keldeo that gives it the buff. I would say Quagsire itself is just the best attacker there because it's just a one prize that trades 1 for 3, and that's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
It's pretty efficient. The only problem is that it sort of just puts way more pressure on you to keep those whoopers coming out, which in this format, with Pokemon communication being our only source of like Pokemon search for like those non-type specific non-GX mons, then it can be a bit difficult to string those along sometimes. So you do have to rely on big draw supporters like Erica's Hospitality, which I presume Stefan is playing, because typically the support account for QuagNag is usually along the lines of 4 Lily, 4 Cynthia, and 1 to 2 copies of Erica's.
Yeah. And obviously on the other side, you mentioned Wesley's playing the TinaChomp version. Saw a lot of hype before World Championships, but hasn't really seen any play. What do you think about that one? Whilst I look for the point when they actually start playing, because we've been sitting here for 4 minutes doing nothing.
I actually think it's in a pretty solid spot. TinaChomp is really efficient, and the combination between its Calamitous Slash attack with Spell Tag and Distortion Door to be able to knock out the big tag teams, and also GG End as a means to remove endgame threats, especially when they're like the way they're powered up are usually like one-time uses, like a bit like full blitz. You can usually only declare one that hits 3 energy and Pikarom. So if they full blitz to a Raichu, you can GG End the Raichu, and not have to worry about your TinaChomp going down as quickly. But you can also get rid of like 4 to 6 energy Reshizards that are just bench sitting as well, and not have to worry about fighting catches.
That is true, and we've started up here. We've finally got some play after I jittered around with it for a little bit. Stefan on the right-hand side opening a lone Wooper, and on the left, Wesley has got a pretty strong start when you consider how Malamar could open. It's got a Jirachi in the active, 2 Inkays on the bench, and another Jirachi on the bench, and I think he just grabbed the Lily off of a Stellar Wish there, so options for the supporter as well. It looks like a very, very strong start, especially now putting down this Viridian Forest, being able to search out energy if he wants to. But it looks like he's just going to play Lily first. Lily for 5 or 6 seems pretty strong.
I'm not sure about whether I like the Viridian there. usually like QuagNag's first few turns are the most important, so if you can make it so that they have like less outs to drop their hand size, then it's usually for the better. Making their first turn worse is always in your best interest if you're playing against them. I'm not sure if Wesley is playing the Mew or not, but if not, then Stefan, I know, plays the Wailord tag team, which is a massive counter to these Malamar decks. So if he's not able to hamper his early game, then he might see himself go for a Towering Splash in the late game.
Yeah, it could be a potential win con for Stefan if the game goes that way. Obviously, that's the thing he's going to be looking for, but if he can't get it off, you'd think that Wesley's in a pretty strong position. He's played the Adventure Bag here to grab himself a... What did he grab? A board and a tag, I think. I can't remember what it was. You were talking, I was engrossed by your comments. So he's attached the board to the active, and then the tag is in hand. And then discarding the Tina, grab himself an energy, seems reasonably strong. No, there's an energy in the discard. He's using D-Door now, despite the fact that Stefan doesn't have any Pokemon in play. He just wants to get that energy onto the Giratina, which is perfectly reasonable, and then retreating into another Jirachi for another Stellar Wish. He's looking through a lot of cards here, grabbing himself a switch for next turn. He's in a very, very strong position.
Yeah, it's pretty much the perfect turn here from Wesley. That's pretty much all I'd ever ask for is a Tina with an attachment and a couple Inkos down. But he's even got the backup Jirachi with no board to just sort of sacrifice to the active position. Usually more necessary against the more aggressive tag team decks, but it still works fine here. Using 2 Stellar Wishes in the turn is much better than 1. And so we move on to Stefan's turn, and he's got a Pokecom to get rid of a Quagsire to start us off here. Stefan is playing that cheeky copy of U-turn board that I've been noticing, the one of U-turn board, so that
keeps coming
Naganados don't have to pay to retreat, so that they can make it easier to retain energy on their side of the field. We see a lot of custom catches clumped up together, and I also did see an Erica's Hospitality Fuller in there as well, so he might only play the one unless the other one's prized. But,
and it looks like there's a Lily in hand as well, which is going to be the perfect opening supporter here. And like you mentioned, we've got Stefan able to use that Viridian Forest to not only get an energy into his hand, but also get one into the bin. Obviously, Wesley giving up that that consistency that he might have to be able to keep things in play in order to give himself the best opportunity to start off. Now, Stefan drawing, how many cards is that? 5 or 6 off of this Lily. And we'll see what he's gotten. Oh, none of those seem very strong in this situation. There's a Mew in hand, and then a couple evolution pieces.
Interestingly enough, Stefan had a Lysander Labs and a Mew he could have played down before playing that Lily. I elected not to. I can understand holding the Lysander Labs because it is very crucial in this matchup to be able to get past Spell Tag. But however, the Mew, I imagine you could get use out of that through some point in the game in this matchup, especially with Spell Tags being in play. But as an early game attacker as well, while you're trying to set up. But also, like I said, the first turn's very important. I feel like, gimping your setup and just to hold the Mew, which may or may not be important in the future, seems like a mistake to me.
It might just be that he's holding on to it to grab. If he happens to draw, he's drawing 5 cards, he could draw into a Pokemon communication, which would be able to get him into another Pokemon, but it's kind of created this awkward situation, and now on Wesley's turn here, he's managed to find a Malamar. There's an energy in the bin, so there's a powered Giratina.
And we know he has the switch too, because he Stellar Wished for it last turn. Another Psychic goes into the bin, and the attachment will come from the deck, which is a Psychic energy. And this Wooper is going to go down this turn. And okay, so it looks like we have the judge just having a look at the deck there, just trying to get some better randomization. It's one thing you might notice during this set. I happen to play Wesley during the Swiss. Not the best randomizer, as you can see, there's a bit of an awkward shuffle, but not everyone's great at shuffling, no matter how long you play the game for. But
no, it's a skill that's acquired. It's like like drinking wine, mate. It's an acquired taste.
Yep, but that's alright. That's why we have judges and other players to help yourself out. So if you ever feel like your opponent's not sufficiently randomizing their deck, you can always feel free to pick it up and shuffle it yourself.
Yep, 100%, and as we saw Stefan do there. Now, since the switch has come out, we have the opportunity to see another Stellar Wish for Wesley here. No targets for him there, and that's weak shuffling to say the very least, but that's okay, he's giving it a go.
He's trying at it, he's having a go at it from the other angles. He didn't like side to side. Let's go over the top.
Let's go top to bottom. It looks like Stefan's happy with that one. He'll just cut that and put it back. And
I think Stefan's at the point. Stefan might be at the point where he's like, this is going pretty bad. I don't really care.
I don't think it really matters how poorly my opponent's randomizing if I've got only a Ditto with an energy on it.
Yep.
Because the horrible thing here is that the best thing that he can do, I guess, is evolve into an Aganadel and then attack, but then it just gets knocked straight out again. So not a super good position to be in, but he does have the Cynthia in hand, so he is going to be able to make at least another play. But yeah, that Lily for 5 off the first turn, not being very strong, has really hampered the setup here. Opting to go for the Quagsire instead, and then Viridian Forests away another water energy. So we'll have that in hand to attach, and then I presume it'll just be a Cynthia. Looks like that's going to be what it is.
You got to bench the Mew here just to give you just to make sure that you're not going to get benched out here.
Yeah, and the Lysandre Labs could have gone down as well, but no, opting instead just to shuffle, and hopefully you can get into some Pokemon here.
It's a risky play because I mean the game is on board for Wesley if Stefan fails to find a basic here, and there's no way Stefan attacks either. There's nothing cheeky in this deck like Dark Box plays like the Darkrai Prism to get more water into play. If an Aganadol's not into play, it's an attachment for turn, and that's it for you. So, hopefully Stefan finds himself a basic.
Yeah, these 6 cards very important, and there is a basic, but it's only the one, and it's through the Mysterious Treasure, so he's gonna have to play it. Luckily, there is a Erica in hand, opting to discard a Cynthia off of that Mysterious Treasure. And
I don't see a way back. I don't see the line.
Yeah, no, it's looking rough now, and I guess now Stefan needs to make a decision. Who am I happy to sacrifice? Do I sacrifice this Quagsire, or do I retreat, sacrifice my attachments, and then use this Poipole?
The real problem here is there's no good answer. Both of them are horrible. You lose your energy no matter what because you have to retreat to sack the Poipole. So it's not like you're gaining anything here by sacrificing the Poipole. You really needed to get a double of one, so you could afford to sack the other one. But that's just not happening here for Stefan. And to be honest, I mean, it's sort of going through the motions for Wesley at the moment. Literally all he has to do from here on out is perhaps after...
It's shuffling.
Learning how to shuffle throughout the course of this game, but no, just finding that second Malamar is probably the only thing on his to-do list that's really worth considering. Otherwise, it's just declaring attacks and sort of going to the next game.
Yeah, and like you said at the start of the set, it's a pretty decent matchup for Mally, so having your opponent brick as well means that you're probably feeling pretty comfortable, and going into 4 prizes in the lead here. Stefan has no way of attacking this turn. There's nothing he can do. But hey, that's an interesting card. That could come up a bit later on. Cyrus Prism.
And I do believe he mentioned this earlier, but yeah, he does play the Cyrus Prism to help with Malamar, which is... Alright, here we go. So we got a Pokecom.
Well, there's a Dedenne there as well, so potentially could use that to draw some cards.
He's just too far back.
No, it's too far behind. There he goes. He's scooped it up. And fair enough too. It's going to be very, very tough, especially with all of those one prize Pokemon on Wesley's side of the field. He's in absolutely no rush to do anything other than Shadow Impact, and it's going to be a long way back for Stefan. So on to game 2. I'm
glad to see the recognition from Stefan there that because he probably could have played that game out for another 20 to 30 minutes if he chose to, but it would have been in vain. He would have been down 3 to 4 prizes maybe before he even started to do anything. And no matter how good your deck is, against Malamar, that's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah,
You're losing that one. I mean, against practically any deck outside of a low tier deck, that's just going to finish that game off. But we see them all pile shuffling here, getting ready for their next game. I hope for Stefan's sake that going first and having a strong first turn will help him see a different have that play out a bit differently for him, because as we see, he does have all the techs necessary as the Magic Cup Wailord and even Cyrus Prism, which is a spicy tech to help destroy these Malamars.
That's a hot inclusion. And there's also the Volcanion Prism in there as well, which has 160 HP, so it's not going to get one-shot by Giratinas either. So he's got all the tools. All he needs to do is just have a decent start, and hopefully going first, that will be fine. Not sure what's going on here with Wesley. He's obviously spotted something.
I think the issue here is I think he's been warned by the judge because he's got a number of cards that are a mixture of face up and face down in his deck.
I see.
So when you shuffle from the top down, especially as Wesley's doing here, it's practically marked cards because you can see if you know what cards are facing the wrong way. Not accusing anyone of anything. I actually presume this is all innocent mistake.
There's the judge sitting right there, so if it was intentional, then it would obviously have been picked up. And it looks like the judge is going, "Hey, listen, I'll just give that a quick shuffle for you, Wesley. That's fine."
Let's save us all some time and just have me shuffle this one up for you.
Yeah, the irony, of course, being, Blake, that we've been sitting here talking more about the matchup and the idea of sufficient randomization for longer than the game's actually been going, which is high quality content for everyone to be watching.
Yeah, it's I mean it's just unfortunate. Like Stefan's first turn was just woeful last game, and who knows, maybe if he benched the Mew and played the Lysandre Labs, he could have drawn a couple basics or ways to get them, but we're not to know. Perhaps it didn't make a difference at all. But all we're gonna do is wait to see what happens in this next game, and hopefully it plays out a bit better for Stefan.
Well, you'd hope so, because it would be horrible. This is the first time that both of these players have been in top 8, by the way, which is part of the reason why they were selected to be on the camera, because they were excited, to be in top 8. It doesn't happen every day. And for the first game in your first ever top 8 to go the way that Stefan's did there would be absolutely horrific. Wesley obviously feeling pretty good about it, just finalising his randomisation here. And then looks like Stefan's giving him a bit of advice of ways to go about it.
It's funny because I had I mean you might have seen it in my previous match against Stephanie. She also was rather new to the game, and she was also getting the hang of doing the overhand shuffle as well and trying to get the mix up. So I was actually weaving in shuffling lessons as we were playing as well.
So that was literally the last video to go out. So if you've been watching our League Cup videos, then you'll be well aware of Blake's shuffling lessons, which is exciting. Looks like Stefan's got a mulligan here. Wesley's got a mulligan. Stefan's got an extra card to draw, and it's a shame that Wesley's got the mulligan because it means that he needs to start shuffling again.
Yep, it really is. That means we're gonna be. It means it's a bit of a wait here.
That's alright. But
I remember shuffling being this bad when I played him, but maybe the top 8 nerves are getting to him. I can imagine that possibly being the case when it's your first one.
Mixture of your first ever top 8. You've got a judge sitting next to you. You're being recorded. There'd be a whole bunch of things going through Wesley's brain that would be hampering his ability at the moment to sufficiently randomise, but looks like we're ready to go here, drawing out his hand of 7. And another mulligan, so that'll be a second lot of cards for Stefan and some more shuffling for us.
Stefan, please take the deck. I have no personal beef with Wesley, but this is painful. I literally want to pick up a deck and start shuffling it myself now because it was so bad watching this happen.
It's okay. It's fine. The video's only been going for 20 minutes. It's fine.
15 of it has been Wesley shuffling.
But that's okay. It's fine. We're back here, and now we're drawing a hand, and hopefully that looked like a Pokemon, so it looks like we might be ready.
It was
to go.
pink. Give me a bait. Yeah.
There it is. We've got ourselves a game. So Stefan will take 2 extras for his mulligan. And he'll also get the benefit of going first, which is very strong.
Oh yeah, those are 2 spicy mulligans for Stefan there. A mysterious treasure and a Pokecom, two choice cards for setting up early.
It was very, very strong, and you can see in his hand he's got an Ganadel. He's going to be able to poke
and
his hand
was dead too. He actually doesn't have a draw supporter outside of Cyrus, so this Pokecom's probably going to have to find Dedenne if it's in deck.
Well, potentially will, yeah. Unless he's happy just to sit on that particular hand, but probably
he's
not.
Holding,
and there is the Dedenne. It looks like he might be going for it.
He is holding custom catches, so I mean, if you could possibly play down your hand size that low, I suppose you could try to draw with custom catcher, but I don't see a way to reduce his hand size quite that much.
No.
But we've got a second basic this time, and we've got a manual attachment, and then we've got a Dedenne, and we've got no supporter yet. So, I mean, this is a far better start for Stefan, even if he has to Dedenne away the Cyrus Prism, which is the unfortunate casualty of this hand so far.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing to have to Dedenne away the tech for this matchup on the first turn, but you'd much rather get rid of it and then set yourself up than give your opponent an opportunity to take a couple of quick knockouts like Wesley did last game. It looks like he's just trying to make a decision here about, can I use any of these cards? Probably going to be a manual attachment to one of these two Pokemon, and then, oh no, looks like it's just a pass. So opting to hold on to the Ganadel, and fair enough, because I mean you don't want to discard everything, but it's a bit of a gamble for Stefan here.
I feel like if you shuffle one in and like it's only one you're losing here, I feel like he's just desperately hoping for like a Cynthia top deck, because I think he just he might be overvaluing the Cyrus Prism over just a good start here in this matchup. I can see why he's clinging to such a key tech card, because it is super influential in these matchups, but it's sort of risky too, because a lot of these decks play Power Plant. So if the Power Plant goes down and there's no replacement stadium, we could see just nothing for Stefan, but it's a Hypnosis coming out from Wesley, so not a great start for Wesley by comparison to last time.
Yeah, no,
now we're going to see a sleep check here for Stefan. I wonder what's going on here with the deck here.
Don't know. There's another conversation being had. The thing that really surprised me about Stefan's turn was that he didn't actually attach any energy last turn. Maybe just forgetting that was an option for him.
And obviously didn't pass the sleep check there, because he's still asleep here.
But that's
We've got an attachment here.
And evolution will be enough to get the job done. But yeah, that extra attachment being missing is a bit of an issue for him.
Yeah, I feel you can't really afford to make that sort of mistake either.
It's a bit unfortunate, but now Stefan tossing up is now the time to use that Dedenne, and it looks like it will be. Have to get rid of the custom catcher and the Cyrus Prism, but that's fine, especially if you can get yourself into a position where you're ready to start attacking on the next turn. Look at that! If he had have used the Dedenne last turn, he would have been full of supporters there. So, bit disappointing, bit upsetting for him.
Also, if we've seen the energy attachment, a Quagsire evolution here means that we're attacking right now. So, this could come back to bite Stefan really badly here. But the Cynthia will be good here, shuffling away a ton of excess supporters here. Hopefully, just find himself a way to apply some pressure. I don't know if these decks are playing a way to attack with 2 energy at all. I don't know that they do.
I don't think that there is anything.
I feel like that's something that'd be really useful, but I just don't know if it actually exists.
Yeah, if there's a card that would be even remotely useful for QuagNag.
Yeah, it feels like there's just a plethora of psychic Pokemon that can do whatever the hell you want that you can chuck into Malamar, but when it comes to finding options for QuagNag, then water types are sorely wanting for that sort of thing.
And there's a mysterious
another treasure.
Yep, so we're off to find another Poipole. This is a significantly better setup. It's a shame though that first turn attachment didn't happen. We could have been seeing an attack, but obviously didn't find the Quagsire, so it doesn't matter.
I feel like he's just essentially set himself back a turn by not Dedenneing and then supporting following that, because he literally gave up on a supporter that turn as well. Potentially missing out on a chance to find the extra attachment and like the Quagsire this turn. This could be all a turn ago. All this could have been possible last turn.
All this and more could have been possible.
if he had just opted for just pulled the trigger on the Dedenne straight away. But now we've got an extra turn for
Wesley to get out of this hole.
Yeah, and we see a Cynthia. No cards being played before that. And for the love of God, please shuffle that, because no. Okay. Right. Well, he was dead drawing, so for Stefan's sake, maybe he's thinking, well, maybe if he's dead drawing, I'll just keep the bunched up dead drawing cards together, and it'll all play out. Doesn't look too great here. There's a treasure and there's a couple of Pokecoms and a treasure in there, so you can work with that.
There's stuff to be done. It's just a matter of making sure that it all happens in the right order. And there's a Malamar as well, so that's a pretty strong call.
I wonder if Wesley will try and attack with this Mew this turn or not. I'm not sure if he has a means to get an attachment on this Mew or not, because he'd have to have an attachment and then like a switch, or like a way to once he retreats the Inkay, then to switch once he uses the I think he's just given up on the of doing any sort of attack this turn. He might just go for Hypnosis, or just leave it asleep and set up a Jirachi or two, and I think that's probably the safe play. Maybe just retreat into a Jirachi here and Stellar Wish, try and get some more Inkays down, maybe a Giratina.
Get himself going, set up his board a little bit more. Did
Stefan
roll his sleep roll last turn? I don't know.
I don't think... not going into Wesley's turn.
No.
I don't believe.
I mean, it's not something that you remember to do very often, because most of the time the Pokemon that's asleep is Jirachi, so it doesn't matter. But that's okay. It'll be fine.
Retreat into Jirachi. I think for him, he's just... he probably doesn't care, because he more than assumes that he's probably just likely to get into the Quagsire next turn. But, it could come up, so you should be flipping those, and I feel like the judge there should be on them to make sure that they go through these checks. But I think they've got a decent amount on their plate here. It is quite a small thing to not worth worrying about too much.
Yeah, of all the things that are going on, I'm sure that one sleep check from Stefan isn't going to be the biggest deal. We've got Wesley grabbing himself a switch again off of that Stellar Wish, perhaps ready for an attack next turn, but there's no attacker yet. And the way he's shuffling his deck, maybe he's not going to go in with that mysterious treasure, unless he obviously used it already, which I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. I feel like he'll get rid of the Pokecom with a mysterious treasure here, yeah.
Oh, and there it goes, so yeah, we're going back in.
If it's me, I'm going to grab the Giratina and then Psychic Recharge to it. But no, we see the Malamar here. So, no real board development from Wesley here. We got the Malamars in play, but for what? I feel like getting the second Malamar is only really relevant if you're going to Psychic Recharge to something in that turn. There's not even 2 Psychic Energy in the bin just yet, so I feel like grabbing the Giratina and Psychic Recharging once to it gives you more options for next turn.
Yeah,
then all you have to do is find some energy discards. Well, he's remembered this time, and they've both failed miserably at their attempts to wake up.
That's disappointing, but that's okay. It's going to be fine.
We got a Naganadel. Yep.
And now we've got Stefan's probably trying to think now, what's the best way of getting this kind of this game going? We've been sitting back waiting, a double charge up onto those Naganadels on the bench, and then another attachment onto a Naganadel. I guess we're looking here for probably a Quagsire, Cynthiaing away that Lily and putting the Lysander Labs into play.
Finally, he decides to thin out a card before he plays a supporter. he's been super strict on himself in terms of saving key resources before playing draw supporters, but you've really got to start pulling the trigger, because this is not a great matchup, and you have to get an advantage wherever you can. And I feel like
with this kind of board state as well, this is the perfect opportunity to get that advantage. We just have to hope for Stefan's sake here that in these 6 cards there is a Quagsire, and doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Oh, that is woeful. That's a lot of Whoopers and Water Energy, and not a way to do anything about it.
And another sleep roll for Stefan. Going astray, and Wesley's straight awake, so that's beautiful for him.
And he's got an escape board, so it didn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. And he's into the Stellar Wish.
Stellar Wish here. I'm not a big fan of Stellar Wishing before playing a supporter card if you've got it. I know he has the Bills, so maybe he's just not interested in playing the Bills as his supporter for turn. I can definitely see the motivation for that, because you do need a lot of stuff to get going, probably after something like a Cynthia for if I'm Wesley, to try and get myself a Giratina, maybe a Viridian, try and get some Psychics into the discard and some attachments on the board.
Yeah, there was a Viridian there. He could have chosen to take it in order to activate his escape board there. Hopefully he does remember to play that before doing anything else.
Ah, yes, so the Licensing Labs are still in play.
Otherwise, that Jirachi's still stuck in the active, so he'll have to spend
that switch.
Yeah, he'll have to spend that switch if he does want to retreat, but at the moment, we're just looking for a Pokemon to attack with here.
Here comes the Bills. I mean, he's already got a treasure. He finds another treasure, which is crazy to me. I think is that the power plant or is that a switch there?
There's a power plant at the end.
So he does play the power plant too, which is, like I was saying, like when he held that to Dene, he could have easily gotten super punished then for holding that. It's such a popular stadium these days, and I wonder what else. We might see another treasure come out, I might think.
I know, opts to go for another switch, so obviously valuing the maneuverability here over finding more Pokemon. It's an interesting choice with one in hand already. You'd think that you'd probably be going for an attacker of some description, but Wesley's probably saying, well, I've only got one energy in the discard pile. I've not got one in hand. I'll probably just have to stick with the switch and hope that this Jirachi doesn't get knocked out. Maybe it's just a retreat into a Malamar and then hope for the best. I don't know. It's not a strong position for either of these players.
This is something I see a lot with newer players, is that their ability to play a deck when not everything is going to plan is typically pretty poor. And because I know Wesley's new to the game, I'm not just presuming that he's new to the game and I'm insulting him for being a bad player. I'm not saying he's bad at all. He's actually makes some quite good plays over the course of this tournament, and even against myself. But it's usually when the deck's not working as planned that these newer players tend to struggle. And it's such a weak turn for me, because obviously, as I said, this could have happened a turn earlier, and he played a supporter. And the big top deck. He's got the Quagsire.
There's the Quagsire. It's happening now.
We're in now, and with the Jirachi knockout that's going to happen this turn now, Wesley didn't grab a supporter. He has no way to draw cards readily available to him. All he has is a switch and power plant.
Yeah, two switches and a power plant. I think is all that's sitting in Wesley's hand. So all he'll be doing is top decking.
He ditched one of the switches with the Mysterious Treasure.
Mysterious Treasure, fair enough, yes.
So yeah, literally just a switch and a power plant in hand. I would have really liked to see a retreat into that Giratina, because it's not really a consequential knockout for Stefan to take here. But losing this Jirachi is going to be huge over the course of this game, unless he manages to top deck a decent supporter here. And we could see Stefan run away with this game just because of this fact.
Yeah, so Stefan's had a terrible game, and now Wesley's on the same spot, so it's not gonna go great for him. We've got the 3 energy moving to this Quagsire, and there's the knockout, and Stefan takes the first prize of the game, and now Wesley's in a very awkward position. No Pokemon, no supporter, no energy, and that's not going to help.
Discard?
Not as far as I know. Power plant's going down, and
it's another Inkay.
Nothing else to really do. He's
he's gonna very sadly look at his discard and realize there's nothing going on here. I think that was just a pass there. If I am Stefan, I am never playing that Viridian City down. Power plant doesn't mean crap to me for the rest of this game. Dedene's down, and you have no worries. You have no concern about playing Keldeo at all for this set. So I reckon just Cynthia, charge up, try and get some energies and discard. Maybe work towards that towering splash if you want to end the game that way, but I don't think you need to do anything special to win this game at this point. I think you need to just keep declaring attacks.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more turns for Wesley. Missing supporter is going to be the only thing that Stefan needs to win this game, and all those cards in his hand, not particularly useful for him right now, but you know what, that doesn't really matter. He's got everything that he needs in play It's just a matter of declaring attacks until eventually Wesley either draws out of it or he loses.
See the judge going for Stefan's deck again. I gotta wonder what this is about. I never heard about anything wrong happening during these two's set while we're playing the tournament, so I have to imagine nothing serious is happening right now, but perhaps the judge spots something with Stefan's deck, but
not sure, but hey, that's okay. We've got a knockout on the active, and the spell tag damage looks like there's going to be 20 placed on each Naganadel. So 20 damage, bringing those down to 110 each.
I've got no idea what those damage counters are for. To me, the only relevant number of damage counters on those Naganadels is 10 each, so that maybe a Malamar can Psychic Sphere for knockout. Otherwise, every other attacker you're going to use for the rest of the game is going to kill those. Otherwise, I'd much rather see them either in desperation go on the active or onto the Dedenne, so you can hit with Shadow Impact for 130 on the Dedenne at some point down the track.
I guess it's not a massive deal when you're drawing this poorly. It looks like
just on the skateboard,
all
on the
skateboard, and then a pass. So Stefan is going to be able to take a knockout on this Giratina here and go 3 prizes ahead. And we find ourselves in a situation where if we weren't in top 8 and we were looking down the barrel of a 50-minute round, Wesley might consider conceding this one. But since it's 60 or 70 minutes, however long your top 8 game is, you might consider going for a little bit longer.
This is the exact opposite of the first game. Alright, we see the Wailord actually coming down here. Hope that Stefan doesn't tunnel vision on this Wailord too much, because it might even slow down the progress of this game for him winning. If he okay, so
yeah, there's the knockout. Chooses just to take the Giratina, and now going down to 3 prizes against 6. Wesley still dead drawing here. Looked like he got a fighting energy there, but it's not going to do anything for him. All that it's going to do is enable him to get that Giratina back to 2 energy, and that's not going to be enough.
It's one attachment off, which is, I mean, it's fine and dandy, but it means if you want to retain those energies, then you're going to have to sack an Inkay or a Malamar here, and that's not great, because you're out of switches, you need that pivot, you probably want to keep your Psychic Recharges in play. For me, I'm throwing in the towel here and going to game 3.
Yeah, I reckon it might be the case, but maybe just play it out, and you've got a lot of time, you might as well go for it. Not even Psychic Recharging to the Giratina there, just sacrificing it. Oh, going for the Hypnosis play by the looks of it. Maybe the desperation to try and pull a rabbit out of the hat. Saw that Stefan was rolling tails all the time, but no, there's a heads roll, and even the desperation Hypnosis is not going to do the job here.
Yep, Stefan very quick to turn his card the proper way up once he realizes he has finally defeated his demon in the dice roll there. Just keep declaring those hydro pumps, and you're good to go, Stefan.
Yeah,
so
that's all he's doing. Just declares the attack, and
the pivot's
Wesley
gone.
Promotes the Giratina, and this game is well and truly over. We're just beating a dead horse now. Still managing to dead draw as well, which is quite unbelievable, really.
Hashtag Malamar things.
Yeah, that's the way that Malamar works sometimes, and the spell tag comes down, and it's not going to do anything. I'm surprised that Stefan's even bothering to play that Poker Gear.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like a futile effort. I feel like you've got all you need here. I don't think he even got anything off of it. Like he didn't even hit a supporter.
Didn't see anything, so it's just a matter of attacking here, and we'll go on to game 3. Unless Wesley decides that he wants to play it out.
I think the curious thing about this game is I did criticize Wesley for not retreating that Jirachi and saving it earlier. We've been through so many top decks now that we've seen what his Stellar Wish would have been if he had gotten the extra one. It actually didn't matter. He was still dead drawing.
Yeah, it was so bad, but
it's only if he potentially got 2 Stellar Wishes off that he might have potentially gotten anything worthwhile out of it, but he would have lost his whole board in the process. So there was no way for Wesley this game.
No matter what he did, he was always in trouble, and just placing those damage counters and moving that Malamar into the active. There's a top deck and it's a Mew. It's still not anything.
This is the trap that you fall into as a new player, especially if it's like your first experience in Top Cut. you want to give yourself every chance you have to, potentially have an out, even when it's impossible. You sort of deny yourself that there's no way to come back. There's got to be a way. Got to be some miracle that can happen. I'll play it out. Let's see how it goes. It's my first one. Might as well play it out. But
Yeah, no.
at this point, you might as well just. This one's done and dusted.
He's played all the cards down. He's passed the turn, and Stefan takes the final prize. So there you go. We'll move on to game 3, and those have been 2 very, very short top cut games. But we've taken a long time to play them in the midst of pile shuffling and judge calls and all of that kind of stuff going on.
Shuffling issues.
Yeah, it's been a very slow double donk. But that's okay, we've got plenty of time, and we're into the decider now. And
hopefully we can see a decent game from where both of them play cards.
That would be great. You'd have to think that if there is a decent game here, that Wesley would be slightly favoured, but if he draws like he did then there's absolutely no chance. I don't know what he's doing over here on the left-hand side either, just looking through his deck, getting those cards the right way up. So obviously the judge has been on him about that to make sure that they are all facing the correct way. So he's just going.
It's something that just I don't shuffle this way, but it's something that bothers me in general is seeing a mixture of cards, different sides facing. So if it were me, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I saw a card upside down for a long period of time. If I ever notice my opponent's cut half my deck the wrong way, then usually on my first deck search, I completely fix it as fast as possible because it just aggravates me way too much.
Yeah, it's one of those things where for some people it doesn't bother them, but for some it does. And obviously for Wesley, it doesn't seem to bother him, but the judge is making the call and saying, yeah, no, you can't do that, which is fair enough. So into the third game now. We'll obviously see Wesley presumably going first. He's got a basic.
No mulligans.
No mulligans. We've got Pokemon on both sides of the field, and it's just a matter of which one is it gonna be for Stefan. Looks like it'll be that Wooper as well. So we're ready to go. He chooses to play that Keldeo down. I think is that what he's just decided to do there?
Yeah, I think he has. It's odd to me, but
it's an interesting choice. But hey, you never know. It could come up. He's got a pretty decent GX attack that he can use to take a knockout with, but
probably want to be looking here. That's not great.
Want to be looking at that Wailord GX attack probably, but yeah.
And this is the first time we've seen it all set, but yes, Wesley plays Acrobikes. I think he actually plays a decent amount. I think he might play 3 to 4 copies of this card, and we had not seen it all set up until now. Jeez. That's just the quality of the games that we've been seeing. We haven't even seen a great enough portion of Wesley's deck to see a 3 or 4 count be played once.
Wow.
So we've got found a Malamar there, so activating the Pokecom in Wesley's hand. Probably going to grab a Jirachi, I assume. There's no Dedenne in most of these lists, so actually going for the Inkay. That's curious to me.
Might be valuing that setup. He's got some other cards in hand. He's going to be able to find energy and things like that. And he knows as well that Stefan does have a couple of turns before he will realistically be threatening anything. It is a bit of a gamble, but
there's no draw supporters in Wesley's hand that I can see. So,
no, so
if it's me, I want to sort of sack this Tina as quick as possible and get into this Jirachi, or just make it so that my switches are an out to draw support at this stage, because otherwise it's going to look a lot like last game right now. The only thing that's better,
pretty bleak.
The only thing that's better over last game right now is the fact that Wesley's got guaranteed energy attachments and energy in the discard. But that's still not enough to go through to beat a deck that's actually functioning properly. So I suppose Wesley's hoping that Stefan's deck doesn't function properly, because that's about as much as you can hope for. But there's a Lily up the top.
There's a card that allows his deck to function properly. So there's some discard options here. We've got Mysterious Treasure. We've got an energy to attach. We've got a Lily to play. There's lots of things that Stefan's going to be able to do here. No, decides to discard the energy, which probably is fairly reasonable in order to get those into the discard.
And I imagine the Viridian's going to ditch the Lily so he can get the attachment, probably go on the Keldeo. And then we'll probably see the U-turn board on the Poipole, and then we'll Lily for 7 or 8 cards, which seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's pretty strong, especially when you're looking to set up and I think if you're Stefan, you'd be sitting here saying, "Hey, this looks like a pretty good position to be in."
This is my game. Yeah.
You'd have to think that unless Wesley gets exceptionally lucky off the top deck, that he's got plenty of time to set up. He's got the same situation as he was in last time. You're feeling really good.
I wonder if he plays the custom catcher at all.
Not sure. Looking like he might hang on to it. Or maybe he's thinking about it. No, decides, no, I'm just going to Lily for 7. I think that'll have to do.
Going after the Malamars first may prove beneficial after you've set up here, so I can definitely see a reason to hold on to them. Hopefully this Lily's better than his first one was.
Oh, there's lots of good stuff in there.
We have so many things to speak of.
This is a game. This is an absolute game. So yeah, no, Wesley looking like he might be in a bit of trouble. There's a mysterious treasure and a Pokecom in that hand as well, so we've got
I'd really like to see him. I really like to see him hold this Pokecom. I'd really like to see just a pass from Stefan here. You've got your attachment. Yep, beautiful. If you lose the U-turn board somehow, you lose the U-turn board. But Wesley has to top deck something crazy here.
I think he just got a Lily. Unbelievable. The gambles pay off. I was sitting there thinking, are we going to see another game where things just go horribly wrong? But no, Wesley grabs the Lily off the top, and he's away. And the worst bit is that Stefan wouldn't have known at the time. He'll be watching this video back going, oh my god, I can't believe that Wesley just top-decked that.
Yep, and let's see. There's just still going to have to be some turn for Wesley to come back. I think he might still need just a Shadow Impact here for this turn to actually be,
a success.
Good enough. Yeah, still good enough. We got an Inkay here. We have a Com to get rid of the TinaChomp to perhaps put the Jirachi into play.
Looks like there's a mysterious treasure there as well. So there's lots of options for him here. It's just a matter of what he chooses to go with. But it doesn't look like there's going to be enough to get an attack.
Doesn't want to get rid of TinaChomp, perhaps? Maybe it's...
no. There it goes. The Pokecom goes for the TinaChomp. So, be interesting to see what he grabs. Probably going for the Jirachi, but could also
I really want to see
a
Jirachi. Otherwise, this is going to be the Calvin Heatran debacle all over again.
Let's not bring that back up.
Yeah. That's alright. No one needs that.
No one needs to know. Having a little bit of a look through here. Looks like, yes, there's the Jirachi. So if this Giratina does go down, then we've got the Jirachi in the back, ready to go for the Switch.
I was going to say, Giratina has 3 retreat, not 2, that's right.
Yes, so it's 3. So he's gonna have to sacrifice this one, but he's got the options for next turn. And there's a couple of Inkays on the bench. He's got a Malamar, ready to evolve that first Inkay. The Giratina's in play. He's got Spell Tag damage. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff happening here. It's just a matter of whether or not Stefan is able to take the first knockout, or whether he ends up missing. But with his hand, you'd think that it'd be a-okay. Just a matter
of... It's all going Stefan's way at the moment. I mean, the Lily top deck wasn't great, but he's not to know that that was his top deck. He probably just thinks that his turn start, basically.
Yeah, he's going, oh, well, that's probably just the card that he's got. Here's the thing as well, like Wesley, for all of his luck getting that Lily off of the top, he's got the Jirachi in play, but he's only got a Viridian Forest in hand, so if something like a custom catcher for Stefan were to happen here, and obviously the Jirachi isn't your first target, but if it were to happen, then potentially Wesley could be dead drawing again, which would be absolutely horrible.
Yeah, this would be a pretty crazy call for Stefan to, if he did have the custom catchers, to single out the Jirachi, because he hasn't. Wesley, hasn't exactly been playing like someone who's dead drawing at the moment. He's been playing at decent turns to start off this game, and he's been playing a supporter every turn, so he's not to know that he's been dead drawing both turns.
Yeah, just managing to pull it out of the hat. So looks like it's going to just be the simple evolve attach. Looks like we might be going for the Lily or the custom catcher here. The Lily it is. He's looking for a Naganadel, and there it is. Second card off of that Lily. So he's got the extra energy in play. He's attached manually once. The question is, does he have one in the bin?
He has one in the bin, but the important thing to note here is that Giratina needs 4 energy from Quagsire for him to take a knockout. So he's actually with the knockout here, which means that Wesley can take the return knockout and actually start the offensive here and actually take the first prize card.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. That's an awkward
perhaps
one.
holding on to the custom catcher was a mistake. So we might see a retreat here, and honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that so much. Maybe sack the Wooper or the Poipole. I don't recall if Wesley's playing the custom catchers or not. I think he might be, but we haven't seen too many of them throughout the set.
Looks like just those energies are moving to the active.
Looks like we might just see a Hydro Pump for not quite a knockout.
Perhaps Stefan's sitting here is going, okay, well I've got options in the late game. It's going to be fine. I can potentially use my Towering Splash to take knockouts and stuff. I should be okay as long as
damage might be relevant.
Yeah, it might potentially come up. But the worst bit here is he's going to lose all 3 of these energy off of this Quagsire. And he also loses his energy acceleration, so he's going to need to find a couple of extra cards next turn. He's got some stuff in hand, but he's going to need to find them still. Meanwhile, Wesley, all he realistically needs now is an energy, and that's what he's got.
Yep. And what was his top deck turn? Was it another Lily?
I think it was the reset stamp that he's just binned with the Viridian Forest. Happy to just get the energy and take a knockout.
I was going to say, I'm just really hoping now for his sake that Wesley doesn't go into, auto-complete and then accidentally put the 40 damage on himself, because...
that would be awkward.
Yeah. But no, he's put it on the Jirachi. We see the Nagato go on the active and receive the U-turn board, the bright gold one from Stefan. Stefan's in a tricky spot here now. I feel like... So he's got charge-ups. Now he just... I feel like the attack was just a mistake here. I feel like him should have saved that Quagsire and saved himself the need to find one this turn. Now it's just a bit tricky.
And this is a really, really big Pokegear as well. And he misses off the 7, so no supporter there. I don't think that there is one in hand. He could be in a bit of strife here.
I think he might be dead drawing now. And Wesley's got all he needs, which is a means to attack.
Yeah, an attacker. I mean, like theoretically, like Wooper can do 10 damage, so he's gonna at least be able to take a knockout with that Wooper. But
that's true. But
if he does, then he's only got that one. And I guess he's not to know that Wesley doesn't have any cards in hand.
He could also play the Cyrus if he decides to retreat into the Wooper and do that as well.
Oh, or we could be seeing potentially, one custom catcher draw, doesn't get himself a supporter, which is disappointing for Stefan.
I think I might have liked to see the retreat into the Wooper and then the Cyrus first, and then get more draws off of that. But looks like he's just going to take the knockout here. Yeah,
he is, and there's the single prize. So obviously presuming here, okay, well I guess I've got to deal with the fact that I've got nothing really in play. I'm at least going to be able to attack with Naganadel next turn if I find a manual attachment, but there's 2 Woopers in the bin already, one from the Quagsire that has been knocked out previously, and now this one. He's going to be struggling to get that energy.
That's if this one goes down. There's not a lot, like, what we were saying was basically that this is all Wesley has and this is all he needs, but now it's gone. He might not be able to so easily respond. He's only got 1 Malamar in play, there's no escape board on his Jirachi. I don't need to see a good turn here from Wesley.
Yeah, and going straight for the Stellar Wish, maybe no supporter in hand, and there's a Cynthia I've just seen, and an escape board, so he's got lots of options here, lots of cards that he can choose. It just depends what he has. He needs Malamar, he needs another way to retreat, he needs a whole bunch of stuff to get an attack happening here.
Could have sworn I saw a supporter of some sort in his hand before he Stellar Wish. Maybe it was the Bills. But, I'd probably take the Cynthia here, yeah.
Yeah, grabs that.
You will. Let's not pretend like you're not going to go back in with that. Yep, cool.
Yep, cool.
Probably see the Viridian on the Tina.
Yep.
Wait, is that Elm? Oh, it was an Elms.
There's an Elm in this. Oh my goodness gracious me, Blake. What is this card doing here?
That is a spicy card. That's one way to get.
I'll tell you what, I'll get the Inkies out, wouldn't it? Tell you what.
I think it's crazy. I played a best of 3 against this man, and I still haven't seen any of these cards. Like,
did he get an energy at all there?
No.
No,
No,
he
he
didn't. He just discarded the Tina and then moved on with his life. And fair enough.
Yeah, so he could have, distortion door and then
Had an
attached.
attachment, but hey, why would we do that? Well, let's leave it in the fate of the gods. Let's just Cynthia and see what happens. Now all I need to find is an energy, because I can't use the stadium. I need a Malamar and a switch. So here we go. Let's do it.
Now every energy is a wasted card in this hand, so that's a better. That could have been a different card.
That's fine.
Could have been something good.
I've just got them all. It's fine.
He's got the attach, and he's got the second Malamar.
Yeah,
this
I've
is
just got them all. I've got them all.
He's got it from hand too.
Yeah, he's got it from hand. I don't even need to do anything else. I'll just do it.
This really didn't deserve to happen. It really, really bothers me when people large mistakes like this and they get away with it. This is gross. He's even put down the second Giratina for no reason here. The distortion door doesn't matter now. It's not going to matter anytime soon. But hey, it's your bench space, Doug.
It's happening, and here's the attack from Giratina, so it's going to take out that Hooper, just like we expected it would. So
no Hoopers in play for Stefan.
That's a bad situation to be in.
And only an Ganondorf as a means of attacking in the near future. We're in Trouble Town.
Yeah, it's not looking strong. This Giratina, unless something goes horribly wrong, is going to stay in the active next turn. There's nothing that Stefan can realistically do about it.
And I can't believe he puts the 40 on the active, and that's fine. I feel like that always goes into the second Giratina. I mean, that should be the only reason anymore.
Stefan, sorry to interrupt you there. Stefan just
top decked the Cynthia. I saw it.
He just top decks the Cynthia. Unbelievable. You'd be sitting there saying, what is my luck at the moment?
No, but I'm thinking, like, for me, that Cynthia is a stab in the gut, because it's like, where were you on my Pokegear last turn when I needed you most?
Yeah, exactly. I just needed to get you like last turn to draw some cards.
You should have been here a turn ago.
But hey, and looks like the Mew's coming down, so there's an opportunity to take a prize that maybe we hadn't considered. There's a knockout on a Jirachi here, so that's something.
Yeah, and it does get the important thing here is that it buys him a turn, it gets him a prize. To get Weepers back into play. And eventually this Naganadel could become relevant through the use of Turning Point on the 3-prize turn as well.
I keep dropping this coin that I'm playing with. Sorry, I'm fiddling with the coin. I've dropped it twice.
Let's stop that. That's not the fourth. It feels like it's not the fourth. It's probably not, but...
I'm sorry.
But hopefully we see a whoop. But I gotta stop asking for cards for Stefan to receive, because
it's just not happening.
If I wish it, it does not happen.
I guess the good thing here is he's got the double Naganadel, so that next turn when he's like in dire straits, he's at least going to be able to attack with one. But
we might see. No, I feel like he missed a charging up, like double charging up there.
Probably, but
that's alright. I don't think he has too many waters in the bin at the moment. Anyway,
yeah, might want to just hold on to them to select the better options later on.
There's some small details here, but the key part of this turn, which is devastating for Stefan, is the lack of a Wooper. With that gone, I feel like there's not a great way for Stefan to come back into this game, because once this Mew goes down, there's not going to be anything worthwhile to attack with. I mean, unless Wesley randomly puts the 40 damage on Shadow Impact on himself again, but I mean, that would really grind my gears if he did that, because that's just foolish. There's no way he takes a knockout if you just put it somewhere else. We see a Lily from Wesley here. Spell tag goes under the active. We know that that Stefan's holding the Lysander Lab, so pretty inconsequential here if Stefan's even able to take a knockout in the future. But might see some Psychic Recharge action go down onto the spare.
We got one onto the Giratina and one on the Mew as well, by the looks of it.
Prepping the Mew for some reason. I don't like that recharge. I feel like every time it's better on the Giratina. That way they're both one attachment off attacking it. He does place it on the second Giratina, which he's managed to escape my fury this time.
Just this once.
But now, okay, we've got a Com. Wait, was that Com in his hand last time?
No, it wasn't. That was the prize that he drew from that Mew. So
that was the prize.
A little bit of luck to get the Wooper, but would have liked to have seen it the turn before.
Yeah, it's a great prize. I mean, I'm assuming right now that he must have a follow-up supporter, because he didn't grab Dedenne just then.
There is a Lily in hand by the looks
There
of
is
it,
a
so
Lily.
thinning out an energy from deck, discarding one and putting one to hand seems pretty good, and that deck now starting to get a little bit thinner, but the position that Stefan's in now, he's got his opponent attacking every turn for the rest of time, and he's got no real way of stopping it from happening. So the question is, how does Stefan maintain board control here? And could potentially be something like a Volcanion Prism, perhaps, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on here.
That's not a Pokegear, my
No,
dude.
that is not a Pokegear, that's a Lysander Labs. I'm sure that someone...
I think he just realised that he's revealed that instead of the Pokegear, which I know he had.
There
he
you
has
go,
in
it's fine. Whoops. Let's just move on and forget that that happened.
He was definitely performing. Oh, there we go. Here's the Cyrus.
This could be an interesting decision here. Does he retreat maybe into one of these GX Pokemon, maybe the Keldeo, and or even the Magikarp Wailord, and then play the Cyrus, discard a bunch of cards, or shuffle in a bunch of cards from Wesley's side.
It really doesn't matter that you keep the 2 Malamars. Your active doesn't get killed this turn. I feel like Cyrus is a really low impact play. No charge ups being forgotten this turn. They're not going to matter too much. The Wooper's down, that's the important part. Hopefully it survives the turn. But there's no retreat here that's nice.
No, there's no good position for Stefan to be in. He's going to really need to pull something out of the bag here to get this game as a victory. And looking for the retreat here, trying to figure out which way is the best way to go.
I feel like he might just retreat into the other Naganadel here. I feel that's the only card you can afford to lose. You can't risk it. As soon as that Keldeo gets tagged for 130, it's going to die to Spell Tag or D-Door or Mew, one or the other. Wailord, if it gets hit, there's no way you're getting it back out of the active, so that seems like a waste, but the Cyrus comes down. Like I said, look how quickly he picks the cards he knows. It doesn't matter.
I'm just going to keep these Malamars in play. I'll just shuffle them away, whatever. And yeah, there's just a straight pass from Stefan. Nothing more to do.
Literally nothing changed of the important variety for Wesley's side of the field. He has his attacker and he has his Malamars.
And it looks like he has a handful of switches as well, so there's no lack of maneuverability there from Wesley.
Yeah, I think he's just got...
Maybe Stefan's turn is still going here. No, there's the pass.
A ton of switches and I think a Lily.
That's not a super strong top deck, but it doesn't matter.
I think you're just declaring Shadow Impact?
I think so. I don't think that there's realistically anything more that you'd want to do.
Unless that's a Cynthia, in which case I'll take that back. No, I think it's a Power Plant.
Yeah, it looks like it is. That's a Power Plant. So, no supporter to play. Nothing realistically that needs to be done, bar just attacking. And I think that looks like what he might be about to do.
Oh no, don't put it there. Don't put it there. That's horrible. No. You always put it on the Malamar. Oh my god. Now the Naganadel can kill it. That's so bad.
It's gonna be fine, Blake. Just relax.
The Quagseyes in play. My dude did not bench that Ditto. That is a spell tag knockout right there. We see a Viridian ditching the Ditto, which is I'm thankful for that. My god, I did not realize how rife with misplays this top 8 match would be. But
there's something to be said for watching the games beforehand, Blake. But if we did that, then we'd know what was happening, and it wouldn't be as exciting for us. So we have to sit and watch it live.
There'd be no surprise factor. It'd be boring. It just wouldn't be as lively a commentary.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be half as exciting. I've just bumped my mouse onto the screen there. Oh my god, this is fallen to pieces very quickly.
We've got an attachment here. We can bump up those 2 energy to the active from to the Keldeo and then retreat.
Oh, I've got a Lily for 6 as well, which is pretty strong. That seems like a decent amount of cards to be drawing with that card.
Yep, perhaps be able to get a second Wooper here. Man, I really wish I was playing like Scoop Ups or something if I'm Stefan at this point, because that is a dead Keldeo if I've seen one. Like, I know the Lysander Labs is in play, it's not dead this turn, but
it's probably pretty dead. It's going to be dead pretty soon.
D-Door is going to wear that mother down, and I mean, you would think if you're Stefan that there's no way, like, or that it's sort of unlikely that Wesley gets an attack in return, but all he's holding is switches.
Yeah,
Like, it's
always
literally-
holding his ways to attack next turn, so he's
it
got it.
doesn't matter what his active is. He's just got it. So it doesn't really matter if you can charge up both before. You're gonna retreat manually off of this Keldeo. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. They're both gonna end up in the bin and then back into the field. And then he's gonna retreat into Naganadel, hopefully, probably with the U-turn board, so you can bounce it around. That's a mistake.
Looks like moving into the Quagsire instead.
But there's no. I mean,
That's okay, Blake. It's fine.
I mean, if he's on 4, nah, that's still, I don't like that still. Because he even benched the other Poipole, you know, to make it better. But now, like, he needs Jing up, attach, like, for both of these Naganadels.
Well, it looks like time's just been called there, so potentially that's why Stefan was having a bit of a think. Oh, and look out! I think I can see what's happening here. Looks like Wesley is going. I'm just gonna use my what do you call it? Giratina Garchomp to hit the 40 damage onto the benched Keldeo. Is that allowed? Can you do that? Well, I guess when there's a power plant down, you absolutely can.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So it looks like that might be the play, and if that's the case, then that's 2 prizes, and all he needs to do is take 1 more, which he's gonna be
There's
able
also,
to do.
I think there's no way for Stefan to respond to a fresh TinaChomp at this point in the game either. And what's even more disgusting is I'm pretty damn sure that was his top deck for the turn, because he was only holding switches and Malamars too, and that is just the perfect play handed to him on a silver platter.
Well, that's
real. That's real gross.
Let's not talk about all the times that Wesley's just randomly top decked into a thing that he needs to win the game, because otherwise Stefan will be very upset when he watches this video back. There's the 2 attachments onto the
I'm sure
TinaChomp.
he's not gonna watch it back.
Oh no, he won't be watching it.
I think he'd rather forget if he ends up losing this. But there's the linear attack with the power plant.
Takes the knockout on the Keldeo, goes down to 1 prize, and even though it is the final turn of time for Wesley, in his next turn, pretty much everything on the board is going to be able to be knocked out by that TinaChomp. So
the only thing I can see here
to do for Stefan.
Stefan needs to get 3 Naganadels down, ditch a whole bunch of water, and move it all up, because the Hydro Pump from QuagNag is the only thing I see being able to take these knockouts and get himself the prize lead.
Also, the question is, how many energy would he need?
Well, it's 60 base.
Yep, and then it's 20 for every other one, and he needs to do 270.
So
he needs to have, what, 11? So he needs to have 11 energy. So he's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he needs to get 3 more, and he's used all of his charging ups.
I didn't say it was easy, if that helps. He's got the attachment, and I don't think he's attached yet, to be fair. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go. So sorry, he's got what's that, 9?
2. He's got 2 more left to do. And like, there's no way it's happening, because that's literally all the ways the deck has to do that. But you know, that's crazy. The only other thing, unless that was unfortunate enough for it to be timed, because otherwise I could easily see a replacement stadium and then a retreat into the Keldeo, which is in Stefan's hand, and then you can 2-shot this TinaChomp, and then win the game that way. But that's real unfortunate if that's the case. The time was called here, and that's why these plays are being made.
Now I guess Stefan's best thing to do here, I guess, is just to even up the prizes and use his Magikarp Wailord to take a couple. If he can maybe gust up that Giratina, he'd be able to maybe lock Wesley from actually being able to win, tie up the game by prizes, and then move on to sudden death.
If he was able to switch into the active and use Towering Splash, he would tie up the prize cards, which would then send it to sudden death, I think.
I think the issue here is that Wesley has another turn, and he's going to be able to take a knockout on that Magikarp Wailord if that is the play that is made. So I think that Stefan needs to get the Giratina into the active.
The other thing is that, yes, because of that, it also means that he would have to double custom the Giratina into the active and then make that play. But as we know already, without the addition of like a reset stamp to Stefan's hand, we know that Wes's hand is
It's
all
covered in
switches.
It's just switches.
It's literally all switches. Literally all the man could want.
So you'd be sitting here as Wesley going, cool, no, I just won that game. And I think it was well deserved. No luck, all skill.
Whatever threat Stefan presents this turn, he can just
went for the custom catcher for 3, trying to get the extra one. Unbelievable.
He can just GG end whatever threat is presented if for some reason he can't take a knockout, and then just make it so he can't win. And then he'll win on prize card advantage. But, oh god, it's so terribly close, but yeah, there's the handshake.
Stefan knows there's nothing else to do, and Wesley goes through to top 4. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes with Malamar in that particular matchup. Hey, good fun, Blake.
Yeah, well, that was actually a half-decent game. It was better than the first two.
I'd say so. That in the hour and 15 minutes, or however long we've been going for, we got at least one semi-good game.
But we saw, like, even in that shadow of a game in Game 3, how interesting that set could have proved to be if both players drew well.
That's the key.
Which is unfortunate. That's what we were going for, but, you know, sometimes decks brick, and I would have to say, in this format, these are two of the more brick-prone decks in the format.
They certainly are. But hey, if you like the content, if you're that type of person that enjoys these kind of games, then consider subscribing by clicking the save line in the middle of the screen. On the left-hand side, we've got some videos that YouTube thinks that you'll like, and on the right, we have our playlist for the Gawler League Cup. Thanks, Blake, for coming along.
No worries.
And we'll see everyone next time for more from the Sable Eyes. Bye.
Bye.